Audio check, 1, 2, kick drum. Luuh back again for another video tutorial. Thanks to everybody who supported my last couple tutorials of the Akai MPK Mini. Today I'll be reviewing an app and giving you a tutorial for an app called iMachine. It is my favorite app of all time, best app in my phone. It works better than the phone app. Smart machine. Anyways, iMachine is a mobile production studio. It's not a DAW, although it can be used as a DAW. It has some parameters that you can use to mix and mix down. The greater part of this video will be very bland, very boring, although if you want to learn the ins and outs of this app, this will be very helpful to you, and also you'll be able to make a dope beat, although I can't teach you that. That's a God-given gift, so if you suck, you just suck. So you'll see the dialogue, and the app itself is upon looking at the main menu, it's pretty simple, so I'll go through everything. First icon you have here is the menu. Okay, once you hit the menu, you get a drop down dialog: new, open, save, export, help, and expansion store. The new icon teaches you, I'm sorry, not teaches you, the new icon opens a new project. Every time you get done saving a beat, you can click new and start a new project. Open is for the files that you currently have saved, or to open the default projects that come with the app. Save, I hope you save early and save often. You never know when your phone's going to crash, run out of battery, someone's going to call you, although it does have a background save function, so it will pick up where you left off, although if your phone crashes, there's no way of recovering unless you save. So remember that even Jesus saves, you know what I'm saying? Save early, save often. All right. Export function is pretty awesome. I'm gonna show you that, because if you have iMachine on your computer, you can upload and download your sound packs and your content, which is cool. I don't have iMachine. I don't have Machine, so the SoundCloud function is awesome for me, because I can upload my individual tracks, or I can upload my mix downs, or you can upload your mix downs and individual tracks to SoundCloud. It has the Twitter notify, and it also has the Facebook notify. One thing that's good about your Twitter and your Facebook notify is that if you have clients on Twitter and Facebook, you can give them a notification to let them know that you just uploaded a beat, or the skeleton of a beat, or an idea of a beat, and you can use that as a tool to sell your beats. Okay. All right, going back to the main menu, we also have the help screen, which gives you an introduction, it gives you an overview, it tells you about the expansion store, which I'll get into that a little bit. Importing and exporting. If you're already an engineer, or you're a rapper who already make beats, you know how important it is to import and export your beats for tracking and mixing and mastering. One thing I want to get into, this app is, it does have the ability to get a studio grade mixed and mastered sound. So don't be afraid of this program or this app not being able to deliver the sound that you need. It is a monster. I'll get into that later. But you have the FAQ, frequently asked questions. Early on when I first downloaded this app, it had some bugs. They updated for iOS 4 and whatnot, and so it's up to par. I had some bug fixes for the crashing and the save function and whatnot, but they fixed everything. So I haven't explored further resources. Maybe now would be a good time. This app is made by Native Instruments, and Native Instruments is a beast. I mean, as far as sample technology, I have a lot of their kits. Their urbanized African new age sounds, their kicks, their snares, their jungle sounds, everything is on point. So this looks like a store locator, things to let you know how to purchase their products. And so I say definitely support this company because they've been delivering quality VSTs for a long time, and I basically use them all the time. All right, so back to the help function. Basically, that's what the windows here do, or the drop down function here. We'll go back to the main menu, and next we'll open a new project, which I already have a new project open. Boom. What you see here is a MPC style pad on your iPhone 4 or iPhone 4S screen. Basically, what you see here on the top menu is, of course, your main menu function, and then you have your BPM or tempo. For you guys that produce hip-hop or techno, you can set this tempo to go all the way up to 299 BPM, I think. So basically your speed, the speed of your beat can be whatever you want it to be. And so that's pretty awesome. So I'll set it back to like 90 here. That won't hurt. Okay, you have your play button here to play your beat. To stop your beat, you press the same button. You got your record function. You get 4 seconds to 4 seconds is the pre-roll, or I should say 4 beats to your tempo to start recording. All right, you got 16 pads. Hey, what can you say? That's off the chain. You also have a mixer function here. In the mixer function, you have a total of 4 channels, and those 4 channels correspond with these 4 dialogues here, or these 4 icons. Okay, so basically inside of each mixer you can control the volume of that particular dialogue or that particular icon, and you also have 2 effects modules. If you go into FX1, or if you highlight it, click on the FX1 dialog, and you have a panel here of effects. So if I click on effects, I have chorus, lo-fi, delay, flanger. You have 3 different filters here. So if you're familiar with mixing, you know what you're looking at. If you don't, then I would recommend experimenting with it. And when you go back to the effects menu, let's choose one. If you go back to the effects menu, you get sliders here that highlight. You can control the mix volume of how much of the effect that you want on a track or instrument, and then you have the modulation rate. Depending on what effects you pick, you can fix the delay or the modulation rate and the feedback. Okay, so we're going to turn that off so I don't get messed up later. Alright, and then FX2, same thing. You can pick up to 2 effects on each track. This is a blanket mixer, so it fixes the overall mix on every track. So being that you only have 2 effects that you can pick, Every track that you have picked or selected or highlighted um, for that particular effect, it affects everything on that particular track. And it's, like I said, it's a blanket effect. So if you don't want to have an effect on a track, then don't highlight it. And if it sounds funny, unhighlight it. All right, so blank track. This is a mixture, okay? All right, we'll go back to the main screen with the 16 pads, and we'll hold down the dialog for track 1. Here you get a, I would say drop-down menu, but it's a dialog box that gives you more icons. You have 4 tracks, which I showed you in the mixer, and the pads can be changed into keys. So if I press keys, it gives me a keys dialog here on the screen, and you can press up to 2 keys at one time, although you can overdub more keys if you want to make chord sounds. Okay, so up to 2 chords, up to 2 key chords that you can play during one recording session. You can't like put 4 fingers on here and record a 4-finger chord. 2-finger chords at a time. You can overdub as many times as you want to press as many keys as you want. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. Second choice that you have for your tracks, you can record vocal tracks, which is awesome. Most apps don't have a sampler. There are several ways to sample in iMachine, and the vocal recorder is one. It gives you a mic, and you can see here as I talk, my fader is jumping up and down. You can even see the condenser mic warming up as I speak. It's pretty cool. You can set your gate to delete or block out background noise. As you can see, it only picks up at the sound of the gate. Now if I'm talking low and it doesn't reach the gate, then you won't see the condenser light up. So I'll bring the gate down a little, and then you can see that it's picking up everything that I say. It'll start recording right after you release your finger from the record button. So that's a pretty awesome thing. You can let it know that you have headphones on, which that's not the case here. Feedback is always good from whether you're mixing live or you're recording in your crib, because feedback, whether it's good feedback or bad feedback, feedback is good because it's feedback. You know you're getting sound. Blah, 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 blah. That's engineer stuff. Okay, so that is the recording dialogue for your vocals, and the vocals are awesome. You can be walking down the street with your headphones on and be dropping a freestyle on a beat, and it'd be ill. You come back home and take the idea, put it in your DAW, you're good to go. So we'll go back to the pad screen. I told you this is going to be boring, but hopefully you're learning something. All right. So on the bottom of the screen, we have more icons. For each pad, you can select the quantize to hold, and it will repeat the note at 1/4 beats, 1/8, 1/16, 1/16 triplets, and 1/32. Although these are located in the quantize section, you don't have to necessarily utilize that for the quantize. There's a swing option inside of the tempo dialog at the top of the screen, and then there's also a quantize on and off switch, which I utilize the on and off switch because I don't want my hi-hat to be so robotic all the time, or I don't want my snare to hit on the beat all the time. So every now and then I toggle that. So that's basically what the quantize function for the pads are, for recording and holding down a note and it having that robotic hit every single time. But it can also be affected by the swing function here in the tempo dialog. Okay, boom. So next track, I want to kind of get a little bit deeper into each pad function, okay, because each pad that you're looking at here you notice that when I press them, it highlights that particular pad. You can adjust. That's one thing I love about this app. You can adjust so many different parameters for each instrument that you put on each pad. While it's highlighted, you can adjust the volume. You can apply so many different functions. You can pan each individual track left or right. We'll get into that. Okay, so once I highlight a pad and I press the dialog box here, this gives you a live play function where you can set the default volume for each particular pad for live play. I always turn mine all the way up because it's an iPhone and it's not really built, well, it is built by musicians, but it's not really built for loud booming sound, and I like my music loud. So you can adjust the default volume for every time when you press a pad. It will, no matter how or where you press it, this will be the loudest volume that it will record and on the output. So while you're recording, this dialog will give you volume on your tracks at different levels. So maybe you want to give a hi-hat a liver sound as if a drummer is really playing. Then you would use this dialog to record at different volumes so that your hi-hat will sound realistic. You know, maybe your drummer had a bad day, got in a fight with his woman, and he came to practice and his hi-hat's kind of angry or lazy. You can give it that realistic sound. Okay, that's for the live dialog play. Next one, this screen is kind of complex, although if you really dig into it, it will help you during live play to edit real time and also back up where you mess up. This is your unlimited levels of undo. Inside joke. Anyway, so this screen gives you somewhat of a menu, but it's for each individual pad and it's for the entire program itself, or entire, what's the word I'm looking for, project that you're working on. So you have a clear function here which clears everything on that particular pad no matter what you have on it. You can double the measures that you have, so it works at 4s, 8s, 16s, 32s, so you can double those. You can also set the pattern length here and tell it how long you want this pattern to be. Okay, so a pattern, if you don't know what a pattern is and you're just starting out production, pattern is basically a 4, 8, 16, 32, or however many measure loops. And it also, a pattern is the whole track in a loop. So basically a pattern is a loop. I should explain it like that. And a loop is made up of sounds of patches or samples, and those samples are recorded to make a loop or a pattern. Okay, boom. You have your erase function, which gives you a dialog or box in the bottom of the screen with the pads that will appear here, and you can hold down pad while it's playing to do a real-time erase, which is pretty awesome. Alright, real-time erase. You can mute pads just by pressing on the pad and using the mute function. And then you have undo, which you can undo all the way to the beginning of a blank project, no matter where you are in your recording. And you can undo individual tracks by highlighting that track and undoing what you recorded on that track. You have a redo function, which hopefully you know that redo is the opposite of undo. And you have history, where if you don't want to use the redo or undo function to do destructive editing, you can go into the history dialog box, the history function, and it will give you step by step the things that you've done with this each particular pad, and you can select that area here. We have create pattern. We haven't recreated the pattern yet, so we haven't recorded, so we don't have any selections here, but that's basically what that's for. Okay, so here we have the sample section, which is one of my favorites. You can do live sampling, sample something from a radio, stereo, baby crying, car engine. Basically, your iPhone mic or the mic that you have connected to your iPhone becomes your sampler. The phone becomes a sampler itself. You have up to 5 sample dialog boxes or icons that you can record for each pad and switch out during play or during recording. So you can record 5 different samples on each particular pad for your recording and switch them out as many times as you want during the recording. So we don't have a sample here. If I had a sample loaded, which I'll get to that later, you would see the WAV file here. One bad thing about the app, it does not do live sample or wave editing. So whatever sample you have in there, when you hit the pad, you can't truncate the sound. So that's one thing that sucks, but it more than makes up for that with other things. Okay, so the sample would appear here, and you could audition that sample by pressing here. This is your record button. Hopefully you know what that is. Here's your threshold for your gate to negate background sound, just like the mic recorder function. And your pads will appear here. You can highlight each one once you've recorded them. You can erase them. You can also save them for future projects. Basically, your phone's save function, or I'm sorry, this app save function is as huge as your phone's hard drive. So if you have a lot of space on your iPhone, you can fit as many samples on here as you want. And it's 16-bit. I'm pretty sure it's 16-bit sample waveforms, but it might be 24. I'm not sure. I didn't check into that yet, but to the ear, it's candy. So I just want to let you know, if you want to record with this, it will sound great unless you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, or you're going out of your way to make it sound bad. It's very, very, very crispy. Okay, so here in the magnifying glass icon, we have something so awesome. I really want to get deeper into what these kits do individually and how they sound, but I won't be able to do that with this recording, or this video will be like 2 days long. Inside of the magnifying glass icon, it gives you the iMachine library. Now mind you, you see acoustic kits, electronic kits, melodic kits, and urban kits. These are the factory default kits that you have, although it gives you the option to upload and download your own user kits. So if you have Machine, or if you have kits that you have created yourself, you can put them on the iPhone, and you can put them inside of iMachine, and you can record with your own kicks, because you might be a Dr. Dre or Alchemist and you have your own sound. You might be, you know, a Ninth Wonder and you have your signature sound. You can put your signature kits in here, and you can also put in your individual samples. So it gives you the options. These are the defaults. I use the defaults. I love the defaults. I haven't put my own sounds in here because I'm more than happy with the 808s and the snares and the hi-hats and the kicks in here. You can put your own samples in here, as well as use the ones that come with the app. You have your drums, you have your instruments, and you have your one-shots. These sounds are top of the line. I am letting you know that the 808 sounds like an 808. It's not rinky-dink just because it's an app. This is quality industry sound in this particular app, or I wouldn't be doing this tutorial, okay? So When you're looking at the factory kits, you want to keep in mind that when you select a kit, it affects all 16 pads. Although, if you only want to import one sound on one particular pad, you want to use the sample function, because if you upload, I don't want to say upload, if you select a kit, then it will affect all 16 pads that you have here, and it will load that particular kit on those pads. But if you select a sample, it will only load the sample that you select on that particular pad. Okay? Alright, moving right along here. Before I upload, before I load any samples or any kits onto these pads right here, let's talk about what this app is not. First of all, it is not a DAW, although it can act as a DAW. It is not a machine that will master your project like a DAW will, although you can mix very well with this. It's a sequencer sampler, so you can sample with it, you can sequence with it, and make loops, and up to 32 measures. That's it. You're not gonna mix down a whole complete entire song with this thing. You're not going to burn a DVD from your iPhone. You know what I'm saying? This is a basic, simple program to record your beats on and to put ideas on, and then you can take those sounds and those ideas to your bigger studio or to your laptop and put those sounds inside of your DAW. Then you mix and master. Okay, so don't get the wrong idea about this app. This app is awesome and it's a dynamite package, but it's not going to make your CD for you. Okay, you're not going to mix a whole project on this thing. It's basically a sequencer sampler that you can keep in your pocket. That's basically what it is. It's a pocket protector. I'm such a nerd. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so now we know that this is just a sequencer sampler. Okay, all my hardware guys and all my software guys, both of you guys will be, you know how we're at ends with each other, like, you know, software, you know, VST, and then the hardware guys are like, no, Roland Phantom, Korg, acoustic, drums, real drums. Drums in here sound real realistic. The acoustic samples, I mean, it's crispy, man. I can't tell you how great this thing sounds, and you just got to download it for yourself. Okay, so anyways, blah 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 blah. I've hyped it up too much. Let's get into the fun part. You know what I'm saying? The barbecue sauce on the ribs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? The chicken fingers with the honey butter sauce, if you will. Let me stop playing. Okay, we're gonna go to menu. Da 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 da. Okay, we've been here before, so you can come back to this video as many times as you want, and you know, look at the time markers and learn or even reference. And I always encourage that whenever you purchase a new app or a new piece of equipment, read the manual through all the way through one time, then turn it on, then plug it in. Once you do that, then you always have a reference. But if you just turn it on, how do I do this? You know what I'm saying? So, but then again, nah, don't do that. That's what you got me for. Just come and view my vids. All right. So let's see. I'm going to start by opening one of the default projects that came new. Open. Then we'll go to, I really like Money Talks. You see when you load up a sound kit or a file that you've worked on, you have the pads highlighted and lit, which indicate that there's a sample in there. You know what I'm saying? So you got the dope sound lit up on the screen. Go over once again. You got the 4 tracks highlighted on the bottom. Just loaded up a project. First track is sample pads. got your open hi-hat, close hi-hat, very responsive to the touch. Okay, second track we got keys. Third track we got pads. Another drum kit. Alright, give a little volume on that. Okay, and the last track we got keys. This is the default beat or default program, so let's press play and see what they got. That's nasty. That's nasty. Let's drop that beat back in. Alright, so there you go. You know what I'm saying? Heat. Okay, so we have the blank project here. I'm going to start off with something basic, just a basic kick sample. And so on pad 1, we're going to click on the magnifying glass, correct? Let's get a better view here. Very good. Okay, we'll click on the magnifying glass. And we have choices here for kits. We don't want to load a kit, we want to load a sample, right? We're going to go to drums, and we'll go to kicks, and then we'll go to like, I don't know, let's go to the, oh, you can audition sounds by clicking on them. Forgot about that, that's a good thing to know. So you got all different types of kits that you can load here. I like this one. Not going to use that one in the project, but as you can see here, the sample being loaded onto the pad is indicated by the pad being highlighted. Okay, so we have the kick here, right? So the kick being highlighted is very significant because all of the parameters of this particular pad and sample can be edited. The way that we do that is we go into the icon here that shows the WAV file at the bottom of the screen. Sorry about my camera moving around, I get excited. You can also audition the sample here, and you have parameters here where you can change the pitch. Unfortunately, the pitch bend also affects the time. There is no time stretch. The pitch and time stretch are all one. So if you change the pitch, the time sequence, what's the word I'm looking for? The time signature will also be changed. The higher the pitch, the shorter the sound. The lower the pitch, the longer the sound. So it'll stretch the sound out. The lower that you make the note. Okay. Here we have gain, which I want to also reference. The gain is the volume of the track. or the sample, which also can be edited here and made the default sound louder. So if you make the default sound lower, it will record the default sound, okay, no matter where you press here. So you can control the volume here with the gain, here with the recording, and you can also change the overall track volume here in the mixer. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but you know, if you want to maximize your sound, you want to make sure your volumes are tight. So we'll go back here to the wave icon. You have pan, which is pretty awesome, you know what I'm saying? Pan your tracks left and right. That's basically all that does. One shot basically makes the sample sound or play as long as you have your finger held on. If it's turned off, I'm sorry, I should explain that. If I have the one shot turned off, the sample will only play as long as I have my finger pressed. But if I turn the one shot on, I can hit it one time, it'll play the entire sample all the way through. And then choke basically links the pads to the other pad. So if I press this pad and the choke is on, it will cut off when I press another pad. But if the choke is off, it will continue to play no matter how many pads or keys that I have pressed. Okay, so the choke is pretty awesome. The pitch bend is very simple. That's higher. And then we'll go, I would rather use another sample for this, but basically this is all that it does. Change the pitch, okay? So let's see if I can get that. One irritating thing about the pitch bend is it is a slider with your finger, and sometimes you have to try it a couple times to get the note that you want. So the note is not always dead on. You have to do it like 2 or 3 times unless your fingers are very accurate, like you have a stylus for a finger. Maybe you're a robot type person, and a cyborg, if you will, and you can communicate with your iPhone like that to get dead on accuracy. But if you're human, then you need to try it a couple times. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we're in the edit function for this particular pad. So just to remind you, kick drum, edit function. Top of the screen we have 2 more icons here. We have the edit function, which we are in. You also have the record function. If you notice while I'm talking, the threshold for the record function here is jumping up every time I say something for real-time recording, and I went over this in the beginning of the tutorial, so I'm pretty sure you know what the heck it's about. Okay, so 5 areas here for you to sample, erase, and save. Let's delve into that real quickly while we're here. Okay, so once I release this record button, it'll record la la, no, la 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 la. So we have la 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 la. We got boom ba boom, boom boom ba boom, and then we'll record something like, yo, what up? I love YouTube subscribers. Bada bing, bada bang. Okay, so the one that's highlighted will be on the pad. So we'll go to the pad. Bada bing, bada bang. Right? That's not the one I wanted. Yeah, what up? Okay. Boom, ba boom, boom. So we have the sample loaded onto the pad. Okay, so we'll go back to the edit function, and we'll turn the volume down just a little bit. So you see the one shot is on, it plays all the way through. I just want to play one time while I have the pad lit. We can change the pitch. Okay, so that's basically how we sample on each individual pad. Let's get into the effects real quick. Okay, so we have the boom ba boom here, and then the effects are unhighlighted. Well, I highlighted the FX1. And so we'll go into the FX1 icon, and then we'll choose delay, and we'll set the parameters for that. Actually, let's listen to it and see how it sounds. So we'll go back. Boom, 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 boom. Is it on? Wait a minute. Let me go back. Effects, delay time. Everything's on, but I'm not. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's supposed to be track 1. Duh. So remember, it does correspond with the track. Okay, so let's get this straightened out here. Just 1 second. Let's straighten this out. Alright, the pad, the sample is located on pad number 2. And we'll go to the mixer. We want to check out the effects. So mixer will highlight effects 1 on track 1, which corresponds with the pad. Okay, in track 1, not track 2, not track 3, not track 4, track 1. Okay, we'll go to the mixer. FX1 is highlighted. We'll click on the FX1 icon, and then we'll make the feedback. We'll put it all the way up, just so you can see the extreme of the delay on the track. Then we'll press the sample. Boom, 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 boom. So there's your delay. We'll edit it just a little bit. We'll pull it all the way back, and let's see what we get. Okay, so basically we can real-time edit our effects and use that during the recording and during the mix. All settings, unless the track is muted, will be applied to the mix down, so keep that in mind. If you have a sound that you do not like or a effect on a sample that you do not like, please remove it or turn it off, or it will be in your final mix and you'll be stuck with it. But one thing about this program is you can always go back and do it over. So unless you don't save, then you're stuck. But keep that in mind. Okay, moving right to the keys. We'll highlight the key icon and the keys will pop up. The keys work exactly like the pads, although once you load a sample or an instrument onto the keys, it I'm sorry, I'm using the word real time too much. It time stretches the sample, so you have about I guess this is about 4. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 octaves below the C note, or you should say 4 octaves below C1 that you can choose the tempo, and then you can go 1 all the way up to 6 octaves above C1 to play your sample or instrument. Don't know why anyone would go all the way to C6, but hey, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so okay, this is the note that we loaded, and it's basically time stretched to higher notes. You can go higher, and of course the sample gets longer the lower note you hit. I keep saying this over and over, but the keys act just like the pads, although they're keys, so you don't have to worry about pitch bending one note just to get it right on one pad in the sample. Just throw it on the keys and then play your melody. Just like the sample pads, like I said, you can use the edit function and you can use the record function to sample and place across the keys. Alright, that's pretty awesome too, because you have any saved samples, you can just pull them back up, throw them on the keys, boom, throw them in the mix. Alright, so that's basically the keys tutorial. What else? Keys work just like the pads with the real-time live play, and They work the same with the quantize function for the keys. Now, mind you, I went over this in the earlier part of the tutorial. Let me just reiterate what I was saying when I was talking about the quantize. Notice that I have the delay still on. Let's turn that off for a second, and then we'll go back to pad number 1, which has the kick. If we highlight 1/8, as long as we hold down the pad, it'll play the note at 1/8 per 4/4 time signature. If I press 1/4, it'll hit 1 time every beat. 16 times every measure. And I'm sorry, 16 times per 4 measures. We have 16 triplets and 130 seconds. Okay, so alright, that basically goes over what that does. So you can press record and then record, you know, whatever you want to record, your cat screeching and whatnot. I don't know. So that's basically what that does. So we've went over all of the parameters of the things that you can do edit wise for the pads. Of course, once you start recording, you'll have more options here that'll be highlighted for you to use for editing for the pads and for the keys. Last icon that we have here is the microphone. Microphone is self-explanatory. Don't really want to get into it. I don't really feel like recording vocals right now, but all you got to do is hit record, your beat will play, and you start rapping, singing, or playing the spoons, whatever you do, and then you mix it. You can mix it in. Alright, so there is your full picture. This is the full picture of what this app does. If you watched the tutorial up to this point, you have a full understanding of everything that this app can do potentially when it comes to DAW production, because it is a tiny mock. It has mock DAW functions because of the mock mixer and because of the editing parameters. You can mock master. You can put a very good mix. You can mix very well with this app. So you want to, you know, really beef your sounds up before you take them to your DAW. But you could put a good mix on this and then, like I was showing you before, upload to SoundCloud and then tell your client, hey, I got this idea up. I want, you know, $5,000 for this beat. And they say, okay, well, let me hear it. You give them a link, they listen to the link, and then we PayPal each other. Everybody's happy. They get their beat and they record their wax song, and then you stop playing. Okay, so you have an idea of everything that the app does as far as the samples and the sounds. Let's get into how to sequence and how to sample and how to record with this app. Okay, here we go again, back to the drawing board. We have a blank screen. I shouldn't say blank screen. We have a blank piece of paper here. You've been here before if you're an artist, or if you're, no matter what you do, it's just like clocking in. It's like, what does this day hold for me? What type of beat am I going to make? You never know when you turn on your equipment what type of sound that you're going to come up with, unless you purposely might say, hey, I want to make a Dirty South beat, or I want to make an East Coast beat, or I want to make a, you know, new grungy electronic funkadelic Afro jiggy Mexicano Latin pop type of sound. Okay, I'm having fun. You never know what type of sound you're going to get unless you purpose it out. I don't. So when I come out with a beat, or when I get ready to make a beat, sometimes I do say, okay, I'll make a Dirty South beat. So let's make a Dirty South beat. Yeah, let's make a Dirty South beat. So I'm gonna represent real quick, represent the Gulf Coast real quick. Hopefully this comes out to be some heat. If it's whack, then I'll just delete this part of the video and then re-record it. Alright. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is load a kit. You can approach this several different ways. Some guys like to record their melody first. Some guys like to do a beatbox first. Some guys like to, or gals, sorry ladies, some people like to play things out on the keys, mess around. Some like to come up with a nice drum kit first. Me, I like to come up with drums first, although I use all of the above methods depending on, my mood. So that hasn't nothing to do with this. So we'll go here. We'll go to the menu. I'm sorry, no. We'll go to the magnifying glass, which we have our kits here. Let's get this straight. Alright, so we have factory sounds, we have user sounds, we have kits and samples. We're loading a kit. I like the urban kits that came with the actual app. The 808 is awesome. The Southern Get It Cracking. Because I'm a Christian, I don't know, I like this Kingdom Come kit. It's pretty awesome. Dope sounds. Anyways, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we have the sounds loaded here. I changed my mind. You know what? I don't want to go with those sounds. Let's go with 808. You can't go wrong with the 808. So we're making a Southern beat. Let's use Southern sounds. So that 808, you can't really hear it over the connection that I have, but it is humming. So maybe I should just use the other kick. All right, so totally responsive. Everything's here. That's that traditional 808 hi-hat that you've been listening to since the 70s and 80s and 90s, up on into the 2000s where they got popular again. So if you want to make some nice club sounds, of course the 808 is the way you want to go. Got a lot of nice little kits and a lot of nice little samples in here. So you can go to the tempo here, and sometimes I like to audition my tempo before I get started. So I just hit the record button to see where my metronome is. I don't like that, so we'll go a little bit faster. Let's go back to 140. Alright, so I have my tempo about where I want it to go. I want to point out once again, you get 4 counts to start recording. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then boom, it's recording, so you got to get ready. And hopefully I'm ready. I don't know, maybe I'm not. Alright, so we'll hit the record function. Actually, I want to kind of audition real quick these sounds. Okay, so that's all good. We'll hit record. So it's a good thing that I messed up here, so I can point out to you guys where I went wrong. I only wanted to record 4 measures here, but I actually went into 8. So once we go to this icon here, you can see that we have more things, more options lit up here. We got clear, double, pattern length, erase, mute, undo, history. With the erase function, we get a dialog box here that says, hey, press pad to erase sequence. So if I press play, I can erase individual notes real time, and so when it loops, then it won't play. Those notes will be erased, although that's not what I want to do. I just wanted to show you guys that. What I want to do is either go to history, and I can go back to create pattern from where I started in the beginning, or I can just hit undo up until the point where I'm at the beginning. Okay, so didn't want to press that. So we still have our kit loaded here, and I want to make that a little faster. So we'll go here, and then unfortunately I'm not playing on time with the beat. It's very important. That's one glitch that the screen does have sometimes. If you don't hit the note that you want right on, sometimes it's off. The good thing about that, sometimes the quantize catches it. Bad thing is sometimes it does not. In this case, I'm not embarrassed at all, because this is a big learning process, or like a friend of mine used to say, we're all on this great big learning curve. Okay, so we'll press undo again, and then we'll try one more time. One of my kits is still off. We'll go one more time. So we have 4 measures here, and you'll actually get in the zone when you're playing this app, playing with the app. So we have a basic loop pattern here with your kick and your snare. So you can also audition here with your hi-hat to see how. So we'll press. Okay, if you stop, you get the audition pre-roll, but if it's already playing, you can press record to start recording at the point that you want to record at. So I'll start from the beginning. So we got our hi-hat in. Next thing I want to do is go to the keys, and I want to load a sound. We'll load something like keys in. We'll audition. Don't like those right now. Not feeling those. We'll go to one shots. If I can get them to open up. And then we'll go to impacts and stabs. And I like that one. So we'll go. We have a nice little kit there. We have 4 measures that'll loop now. And what I would like to do with this particular sound is turn the volume down. So we'll go to the edit function and we'll turn that down so that our drums are more prevalent. So that's why I say it acts like a DAW, because you can actually use the functions to get down with the app and bust a rap when I snap. It's like this, raps like busting caps, MCs get slapped on the microphone. I got energy like a copper tone battery. You wanna battle me, it's a fallacy. A Mortal Kombat type of cat end up being a fatality. Dirty South beat with the tutorial. For my YouTube subscribers, got something for you. Blah 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 blah. Alright, so you got your kit here. You can basically set up all 4 tracks to have whatever you want. In this particular case, I want to have more keys on the last track so that I can have a different sound. You can load a bass. You can load keys or whatever it is that you want to load on these pads. So I'm auditioning sounds here. Nah, don't like that. So we'll go here with that sound. We'll turn the volume down just a little bit. We'll find the right pitch. So there you go. Alright, also want to point out that each track is totally editable, so you can record as many samples that you want in the pattern on whatever track. So that beat is a good explanation of what the app can do, but also it shows you all the sounds that you can put in one beat just from one set of 16 pads. You still got a set of 16 pads. You still have more keys that you can add to your sound, but that's basically what the app does. So if you guys have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. Please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And that's basically it. So I could add more sounds, record vocals on this, or upload this to oh, got a couple more things I gotta go over before I shut this down. Okay, so we have a 4-measure loop. When we go here, it gives us the option to double. So now we have 8 measures. We can double that, or we can go to pattern length option. The most is 32 bars. We need to turn that down some more because that's kind of annoying. So you got your mock mixer here. It gives you the option to basically make 32 measures. So you can make a 32 measure beat and then mix it down and export it to do whatever you need it to do. So that's pretty much everything, I think that's everything. I like that little sound. It's pretty cool. Alright, please subscribe. There's a part 2 to this tutorial. So the next tutorial I'll be going into how to get your sounds from here into your DAW. I don't have iMachine. If you do have iMachine, I'm pretty sure that you have an idea of how to connect and upload. But for the people that don't have iMachine, I'll be doing a part 2 to basically show you how to go from here to getting your sounds into your DAW, and then taking those sounds, mixing them down. Well, I won't go into mixing down. Hopefully you'll know how to mix down. If not, you know what I'm saying, that's a whole nother tutorial. But basically showing you how to create this loop in your DAW. That way you can go into mixing down, mastering, and put it on a CD and da-da-da-da-da. Alright, so that is it, my friend. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your mama to subscribe to Bro Luuh's YouTube channel. And I appreciate y'all for supporting my tutorials. And I'll be making a new one soon. Peace.